Super Bowl champion, all-pro linebacker for the Buccaneers, Lavonte David. Long time no see. Last time we saw each other, we were in person talking smell and salt. It's great to see you. Congrats on wrapping up year 14.
Yes, appreciate you. Like you always say, man, always good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, and I know you want to analyze some stuff. You've got great connections to these Super Bowl teams, and we're going to do that. But can I show you my favorite play of the year from you?
For sure. Let me see it.
What do you think it is? Here it is. Take it away.
My favorite blitz. A certain blitz that we got called, kind of like a readed blitz based on the back. And, one of my favorite ones, I always come home with it. There should have been a sack fumble, man. It got for me to get a chance to, kind of trifecta, the sack, the fumble, and the fumble recovery, but they didn't give it to me. It kind of sucks. But that was a big change in momentum play in the game, and I'm very proud of that one.
First play of the fourth quarter, you're downplaying it. I think Mac Jones remembers it, probably still has nightmares about it to this day. By the way, you're the active leader in fumble recoveries by a lot.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? You have 7 more than TJ Watt. That's a lot.
That's something I didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? Throughout this whole season, there's a bunch of stats that I didn't know about, and people would just, throw them out to me and things like that. But, I don't keep track of them and everything, but
yeah, I'm
blessed for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes to show, I've been balling.
Yeah, I guess you have, and we'll talk about that more. I have a feeling you kept tabs on this one. People are telling you stats you don't know. But I'm pretty sure you know what happened in Week 18. Huge milestone.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I know that one. I know that for sure. Throughout the season, people was, kind of like in my ear telling me about it and stuff like that, keeping track of it, especially family. They telling me about everything. So,
we're talking, here's, for those who don't know, you tied Hall of Famer Derrick Brooks for the that's unbelievable with what you're doing. The last in tackles, I believe. There you go. 1,714, the last one you just saw in the fourth quarter, that hugely important game. When it happened, what did you think? What does this feel like?
When it happened, Sharon Corals came over and told me, he was like, man, you just tied the record for Derrick Brooks. And, we on the bench and all the guys heard him. So, after that, they wanted me to get back on the field some way, somehow, to be able to break the record. But I'm blessed. I'm pleased with what transpired. But above it all, what I'm saying, be able to tie him, a legend in his own right, is an incredible feat.
And you've always spoke so highly about him, to me, to everyone, and what he's meant to you. I just feel like we can't end this on a tie.
Yeah. Hey, that's funny because a lot of people have been saying that, but ultimately, it's my decision. I'll figure it out. If it's a tie, it is what it is. If not, either way, I'm kind of happy, satisfied, to be honest with you.
You've had 3 straight 1-year deals. You said after the season, I'm going to take some time to think about it. Can you take me through, as much as you'd like, your thoughts the past 3 weeks?
Oh man. First and foremost, disappointed, that we didn't get a chance to make the playoffs, but it's our fault. It's our fault. We can't blame myself. Nobody but ourselves. The way the year ended, the last 8-9 games, the 8-9 game stretch that we had after starting 6-2 was kind of like disappointing, to say the least. But definitely after the end of the year, I have my conversation with Jason and Coach Bowles and my position coach. And, just go from there. Ultimately, they always leave it in my hands, as you know, the past 3 years, 1-year deal. So it's always up to me and what I want to do. And, so far, I just been chilling. I'm back home. I took my little girl to school today. I'm having fun with that. And, adulting a little bit, running some errands, doing different things around the house and stuff like that. But, football, I'm always have love football. Football always going to be there. I've been watching the playoffs, obviously. Ready to, sit down and watch the Super Bowl with friends and family. I think I might host a Super Bowl party at my crib, but, that's still to be determined.
Are you cooking something? What is that going to look like on Super Bowl Sunday?
No, I have stuff catered. It'd be too many people. Once it get to 10 plus, I ain't doing no cooking. I have to cater and stuff like that. But all in all, I'm just relaxing, letting my body heal, and see where I go from there.
Do you feel differently around Super Bowl right now than you did last year, as far as what your future holds? Because you've had this, and it is up to you, and you've earned that. You know, when it comes to what you're feeling, how you're feeling, whether or not you want to come back for year 15, does it feel different than what you felt like going into last year?
I wouldn't say a big difference. You know, it's just, you know, last year, I didn't have, you know, certain things that I went through last year. I didn't have, you know, I wasn't really say like, I know just the Washington game when we played in the playoffs, I was kind of like obviously pissed about that because I felt like we should have won that game. So I was a little more motivated, you know, I would say, you know, to come back. And, you know, but, you know, this year it's still motivating, but definitely different things, you know, take place now because of, you know, certain factors that I've, you know, encountered.
I'm guessing Todd Bowles is coming back, which is incredible. If he wasn't coming back, would you already know that you're not coming back? Like, how is he tied to you, right?
I
think if he didn't come back, I think you might leave.
Yeah, if Bowles wasn't coming back, it was no shot, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know, just me and Bowles just had that relationship. You know, that's my guy, man. I've got extremely comfortable with him, comfortable with his defense, you know, and just our relationship is just, you know, just like that from a player-coach relationship. That's something that I always wanted, you know, the past, you know, 7 years I've been working with him. It's been really, really, you know, fun and a joy just to understand his football knowledge. And for me, you know, being in year 14 and still learning things about football that I thought, you know, most people probably like, oh, I have it all figured out. But every year he teaches me something new, you know, every time. And him as a man and as a person, man, he's everybody in the locker room love him. You know, obviously, you know, the media and the fans give him a hard time because he's not, he don't have you don't see no character out of him. But, you know, we see it all. So that's why we love him, man. It definitely wouldn't have been a different talk if he wasn't coming back. But, you know, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? We have constant communication, and he'll be one of the first people to know what my decision would be.
I feel like DeMario came on my show, DeMario Davis, this week, and I like asked him about like, when are we redoing the deal? Because he's such a saint, you know, and he's doing the right thing and saying I'm coming back to the NFL, and I actually kind of started crying because I can't explain it. It was just like, you know, when you ask a question like I know what the answer is going to be, and there was no world in my head where he was going to say, yeah, I want to test the market. There just wasn't, and I was so I truly was speechless. And then I look at you, and I want to ask kind of the same question, like, is there any world where you'd play for a different team if you decide to come back for year 15?
To be honest with you, I don't think so. It was Bucs or no else. You know, I played my 14-year career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they've been real. They've been loyal to me. You know, the fans have been real loyal to me. My family grown to love the city. They know everybody in the building. You know, I know everybody in the building. You know, the relationships with the guys that I built throughout my career, you know, and especially those younger guys that I built a relationship with. I don't think, you know, me being somewhere else, I won't feel right. I don't know if I'll be able to take it serious enough, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. It probably feel awkward, feel weird because, you know, I know the ins and outs of that building at one Buc, and you know, me walking to another city, walking to another building, it'd be a different aspect for me, different training grounds for me, and I don't think I could be able to being this late in my career. I don't think I could be able to withstand that. But I'm a Buc, man. They've been loyal to me all these years, and it's gonna continue to be like that.
And if you go there anywhere else, like you can't break Derrick Brooks' record. That's truly that's the most important part, right? Like you got to stay in Tampa to do that thing.
I mean, that's in the back of my mind. Like I said, I'm not really thinking about that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think it should be. I'll keep it right here for you. I want to ask you before we get to Super Bowl 60 and get some analysis out of one of the greatest to ever do it, Baker Mayfield. So I'm there. I come to Tampa. We're talking smelling salts and how everything's great. We're celebrating the 50th year. We're like super. You know, the division isn't enough. Baker looked so good to start the season. I was a buka and like all the things. I looked so smart because I was like, they're going to. And then there's a lot of takes. There's a lot of criticism, whatever, about what happened in the second half. I can't figure it out. I don't have a good take on what happened. Can you, like, did y'all run out of smelling salts on the offensive side of the building? Like, what happened with Baker down the stretch?
Just a lot of factors that goes in with football. Just the main thing is injuries all across the board, from the offensive line to the back end to the skill guys, and for himself. So it's just hard to deal with that, to continue to play at an extremely high level. And defensively, we didn't help him out as much as we should have. When we was on the field too as well. But what you saw out of Baker is what you're gonna get up from Baker, man. He's a complete dog. That first half of the season. He's a complete dog, playing healthy and controlling the offense, being high-powered. That's what he is.
Yeah.
And I feel like things would be different. Obviously, it's not an excuse and everything, but things would be different if, we were consistent with, with the guys on the field and, everybody just being healthy and, being, at least close to 100%. But
it's so true.
That's just the way it is.
He had like 5 different injuries he was dealing with. You guys don't want to talk about it ever because you don't want it to be an excuse. But I was in my morning meeting and it's like the injuries. Like he had like a list, and then the O-line was banged up. Like, we're just looking at Baker here. What we don't also maybe talk about a ton is just like the OC dilemma with him. I mean, it's another one bites the dust, or one gets poached, or whatever. We went back and looked. He in his career has only had consecutive OCs once. Van Pelt back-to-back. I think it was 2021. So now he's got another one. Zach Robinson introduced. I give a lot of credit to Todd Bowles because he's this constant that keeps him competitive and consistent. But maybe how is that? What is this Zach Robinson guy got? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm sure having all these different OCs plays a huge part in it. I know it'd be different for me. What I'm saying? My first whatever years, I had about 5 different defensive coordinators, and I know how being able to transition and how to get on the same page and try to figure out what the coaches want and how he want things to operate and stuff like that. So I couldn't really imagine how difficult it is for Baker, with him being a quarterback of a football team. So I know there's a lot of pressure on him and stuff like that. But knowing Bake, he's going to handle it well. And, obviously having a little bit of familiarity with Zach Robinson and, what he did with Atlanta and how, honestly, call it spade for spade, he gave us fits, defensively with the stuff he was doing over there. So definitely looking forward to, seeing him, get the offense back going because, they got the weapons, you got the guys, and you got Bake to, distribute the ball throughout to those guys. So should be exciting to see. And I'm pretty excited for Bake. And I saw a couple of clips of Bake was at the press conference and stuff like that. So I know he's ready to, ready to take control.
Let's get to Super Bowl 60. Now, you played the Patriots earlier this season. There's this moment where Drake comes up to you and he downplays his running ability, right? Talking about a spy. What? Is that just gamesmanship? What is he trying to do there? What'd you make of that moment?
I think he was this year. I think he had the most scrambles up the middle or something like that throughout the season. And at that point, he was doing the same thing. And I was designated to spy him in our game on certain calls, and I was spying him, and he was like, "Come on, man, where they got you spying me?" I said, basically saying like, you know why we spying you just because you were scrambling, you take off up the middle. He was like, nah, basically saying, trying to downplay his ability and things like that. I'm like, come on, man, you a young guy. And look, you these clips right here. He took them to the Super Bowl off of just scrambling and running the football. So, I was able to, minimize that for the most part. But we definitely should have got that win. I wanted that one big.
I want more designed runs for him if the Patriots are to win the Super Bowl, I think, against the Seahawks. And, obviously I talked to the pass rush this morning about how great Seattle is at that. How worried should the Seahawks be about Drake's legs? Maybe that's a good question for you.
Yeah, it brings a different dynamic. Me being a linebacker, I hate going against scrambling quarterbacks, running quarterbacks, because you don't have nobody to account for them. You got to be able to fight off a block and, go, beat somebody or anticipate certain things. But sometimes, you just got to let the play out. And then when you have those design runs, those designated runs, those QB sweeps, and things like that, things that Josh Allen do and Lamar Jackson, those guys do, it's kind of, difficult. It's unstoppable, to be honest with you. But,
He's unstoppable.
I mean, it is. because you got an extra guy and extra guy to block, and the quarterback can run free. But you know, after just watching Seattle defense, man, those guys are hungry. Those guys be hunting. You know, led over there by my guy Ernest Jones. So I know those guys gonna be ready for those certain type of things. But knowing Josh McDaniel, I don't think he'll probably run him purposely as much. Yeah, I think Drake may have to do it on his own on the scrambler.
If he's watching that game against you guys, Josh, with his visor in his office, he's watching Baker run all over them.
Yeah.
Baker ran for like 60 yards against them. Just saying. I don't know. And y'all won the game.
I think it was more scrambling though, and not much
design stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. On the Seahawks side, my friend, you had the game-sealing interception on Sam back in week 5. Yeah. What did you see here?
Yeah, it was the same blitz that I said that we like to call, but I gave it to Savasi this time because I wanted to make a play, and I had making the play on my mind. We was that game right there, man. The play needed to be made, and we was hunting for one. We wasn't doing our best defensively, and I told him to take the blitz no matter what. And I said, I'm gonna cover and I'm gonna try to go get a pick. And, truth be told, that was what happened. And I was able to make it. That's why I was so excited right here, talking my stuff, doing my little run day impersonation, things like that. And, it was a fun football game. And, Seattle, you knew right then and there, I felt like if we would have did our part, I think we'd be able to get back to them, match back up with them in the playoffs. But, we knew there was going to be a team to be reckoned with after that game.
What do you think this game comes down to from your eyes? How does it go?
I think takeaway is the best. It's going to be a defensive football game, in my opinion, honestly. After watching these two defenses go at it all year, making plays throughout the playoffs. And I think whoever creates the most turnovers is going to win this game. And I think, Seattle got those guys who can do that, with the playmakers they got with the spoon, with Ernest, like I said, with Marcus Lawrence, rushing the passer and all those guys. So I think they can get it done with that. But my boy Carlton Davis over there in New England now. So a piece of me wanted to win another one. I talked to him after the game. He ended up calling me. We had a good little conversation and stuff like that.
What did he say?
He's just excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you're going throughout the year, you're just taking it one game at a time. And at the end of the day, you look up and you in the Super Bowl again. And he was like, it just happened so fast. And he's excited. He's happy to get after it, happy to get it again. And then I told him I kind of was happy for him when he had those interceptions in the divisional round. I was messing with him like, by the time you finally catch the football, So, it was fun to see that though. But that's like my little brother, man. That's my guy. And I definitely want to see him succeed.
I keep thinking about who the next guy is that you guys pass the torch to in a long time from now, because you're not going anywhere. But when you and we'll talk about Luke here in a minute and Bobby, I just always, and I think it's probably annoying to you, I always just lump y'all together because y'all are, and you're, by the way, entirely too nice to each other. And I hate it. Like, you're too kind to each other as line. I've always wanted you to hate each other. Why is that impossible?
Because it's just a respect thing. When you kind of like watch guys from college and then how to watch them succeed in the NFL and the league, and you go through that same journey, that grind, and knowing what it takes, and then you see those guys succeed. And it's hard to dislike somebody who's kind of like putting in the same work as you and having the same passion for the game as you, and you just basically kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror. You're not gonna hate yourself, So,
that's good. That's a good line.
Yeah, those my boys though, man. Those my boys.
I know, but Lavonte, the Hall of Fame is wildin' these days. Wildin'.
The Hall of Fame is crazy.
So it's like, what is even the lesson right now with this? Because don't honor. I mean, our boy is a finalist again. He didn't get first ballot. His career was short. I love Luke Kuechly, as you do. If he doesn't get in, are we just out? Are we is there a world where he doesn't? What would your reaction be? Can you imagine?
Yeah, if he don't get in, I have no shot. Let's call it space for space. I have no shot if Luke don't get in. Because, for a long time in this league, he was the linebacker, the prototypical linebacker everybody wanted. And, even though he played an 8-year career, he dominated in those 8 years. So that's what it all matters. That's what it all comes down to. You know, his career was derailed by injuries like most people, but in that time that he played, you know, he was a force on the field. And, you know, if I could vote, he'd definitely get my vote probably 100 times. But, you know, we're going to see how it turns out this year. But I honestly think he's going to get in.
You're all, I love that. I think you're all going to get in. And then I wonder if you'll mention each other in your speeches, because I think that there's, you know, you're a man against quarterbacks and you're a man against offenses and a man against his own greatness, year in, year out consistency. But how much did y'all motivate each other? Like, Luke, you know, how much of Luke's success is because of Lavonte David and vice versa?
I can't speak on them, but for me, for sure. You know, every time I'm playing against those guys, you know, I kind of like, in my mind, I'm like, I want to be the best linebacker on the field. I'm going against their defense. I'm going against their Luke Kuechly. I'm going against their Bobby Wagner. And that's what drove me. You know, every time they made a play, shoot, I was like, okay, it's my time to come make a play. You know, I wanted it to be that type of thing, that type of competition. And, you know, honestly, knowing those guys, I'm sure they were the same way. You know, they competitive edge, they passionate they have for the game. They wanted to be able to make plays. They wanted to be walking on the field, being the best linebacker on the field. And I think that's what make us great, just because that competitive nature and us just wanting to be the best out on the field, no matter who's out there.
You, Bobby, Luke bound for the Hall of Fame. Hopefully we'll find that information out next Thursday, a week from now. Wow, a week from now at NFL Honors in San Francisco. And then at some point you're going to leave me. You're all going to go, be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm so curious, like, where does it go from there? Who's the next? Like, if you had to nominate someone where you're like, this is, I'll put it to you this way. Who will be the next gold jacket at the linebacker position after you three?
I mean, you got to give it to Fred.
That's
you know,
it,
Fred,
right?
Fred is dominating. Roquan still dominating. I'm a fan of Jack Campbell down in Detroit. He's playing really good football. I'm a fan of Edgerrin James in Seattle.
He's crazy this year.
Yeah, he's coming to his own, man. And you know, I remember him coming out as a rookie. We trained together, and I know he's going to be a great one for years to come. You know, I'm a fan of the position. You know, so I'm always be rooting for those guys. Obviously, because, you know, everybody always try to downplay the linebackers and talk about how less important we are. But, you know, we make everything go. We make the defense go. When you see great defenses, they have great linebackers. So, you know, with those guys, you know, I think those guys going to, you know, carry the torch really well.
Lavonte, how hard is this decision for you that you have in front of you?
It's very hard. It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard, honestly, just because, you know, the game is all I knew. I've been playing football since I was 6 years old, and I'm 36 years old now, and I never missed a year playing football. You know, I always, you know, kind of played at a high level, but I always said, you know, if I'm not able to be out there and be able to be my best, you know, take control of the game like I know how to, I don't think it's worth it going out there. But, you know, still back in my mind, you know, being me, you know, I feel like I can. But at the end of the day, it's other facts that, you know, lies into my decision. So, you know, I'm going to take a little bit more time and, you know, see where I go from there. You know, you never know. A sign might pop up, you know, Luke may get in the Hall of Fame and I might be geeked up and I want to go again. You never know.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's you're doing the smart thing, which is like, let me see how I feel. I think and it's truly like a blessing from God that you have the agency you have the decision. Like, it's a blessing to have a decision, because it's not like that for everybody. But I was thinking even like Stafford, like he lost this game. What a heartbreak. It's like surviving a death. But then you're like, but I played so freaking well. Like, how could I retire if I can still play at the level? You're still playing at that level. So it's like, what becomes the decision? Like the emotional investment, the time investment? Like, I don't know. What is the decision based on? Your body feeling good?
Your body, your mental aspect, you know, your daily routines, your regimen, you know, the people. It's so much stuff that lies into it, you know what I'm saying? Because when you get around this, you get this age, you know, like you said, man, I want consistency. You know, I want to continue to work with the same people around me all the time. And, you know, I want to be able to, you know, have my schedule laid out and just certain type of structure that I like and things like that. So all that plays a huge factor. But, you know, the main thing is actually how you are mentally and how you are physically. If you feel like you can go out there and play, you know, 17 games.
Well, then that means you're coming back.
Hey, it's possible. It's possible. I'm never ruling nothing out until I say so. So it's always possible. As long as I'm...
Yeah. Do you and this guy talk about it?
Oh yeah, of course.
What are those conversations like? Because I can't like, they literally brought me some tissues today because they're like, don't cry about Lavonte if he decides to retire. I'd be happy for you. And by the way, I think you should be on TV.
Yeah. That's something I've been thinking about too. But all that's coming, you know, after the decision's made. But
what's going on with this guy?
You know, Mike being Mike probably somewhere boxing or something like that. You know, you know, he like the box. He probably playing basketball, pick up basketball, whatever it is. But you know, me and Mike conversations are, you know, personal conversations. So that's stuff that I can't really, you know, air out and stuff like that. But you know, Mike, my guy, man, I love that dude.
Last one for you. That Lombardi trophy behind you looks very tough. Just looks very cool.
Yes.
Where does that go on Sunday, Super Bowl? Like, are you putting that in the middle of the catering? Like, where does you gotta move that thing for your Super Bowl party. It's gotta
for
be
sure. I gotta show out. You know, I'm gonna put it on display and let everybody know, man, I've been here before. So if I have opinions and I want to say something, I can talk on it. I can speak on it. So y'all, you know, give me a hard time for, you know, certain opinions that I throw because I know what it's like to be there, and you know, most of the people who are gonna be invited over hasn't.
Yeah, but they might say, I don't remember. And then maybe that'll geek you up and you'll say, oh, okay, bet. I'll come back again and do that. I hope that's what happens.
No. I got the jersey with the patch and everything, so they'll know.
Whatever you decide, Lavonte, so happy for you. And just an honor always to have you. You're an absolute legend. And yeah, you belong on TV. I like that you're interested in that. You're trying to see what you like. Yeah,
for sure. I got my people working on it. They've been kind of like nudging me a little bit. So it's something I think about.
Yeah, excellent. Lavonte, we appreciate you, and we hopefully. Am I going to see you next week? No, you're not coming. You're going to be at home.
No, I'm not coming. I won't make it next week.
Okay, got it. Well, enjoy time with family, and we'll see you at training camp with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2026. Take a short break here. I hope we have Edgerrin Cooper. I don't think we do. Or not Edgerrin Cooper, Edgerrin James. Well,